What's going on, guys? Greetings. It's your boy Topher here. The Switch OLED model was just introduced a couple hours ago, I want to say. Almost 3 hours ago now, and I just thought it might be fun to make a little video because there were some things in the video I noticed that were kind of interesting, like the fact that they keep saying it's an OLED model. So I took some screenshots. I don't want to get copyright stricken or whatever it is, and I don't want them to try and take my video down, so I'm just going to try and play it safe. So, first, OLED model. This is the main point that they're trying to push on this thing. It is definitely an OLED model, and that's fine. That probably just speaks to the screen now, and we'll bring that up a little bit later. Looks beautiful. Metroid Dread, I think is what they showed off. I forget the name of it. Later in the video, they show a comparison of this size and the regular Switch, which I have right here. Regular Switch. As you can tell, definitely a lot thicker bars on it. This one's 6.2 inches versus 7 inches of actual playable touchable screen, so that's pretty cool. As you can see, the controllers themselves, the Joy-Cons, seem largely unchanged. I wonder if they're exactly the same or if there's going to be a new model. Obviously they had a lot of issues with drift, but I don't think there's an issue with the design or the size itself, so it'd be pretty interesting to see if they change that. Here I took a screenshot to see if everything on the back was the same: audio jack, air vents, all that kind of stuff. I'll actually bring that screenshot up now. It's a little more, high def. Sorry if the screen's really bright. I have a new monitor and it's very bright for some reason. I tried to turn it down, so sorry if that bothers you. This is also where they show the wide adjustable stand on the back instead of just the little tiny little clip back here. As you can tell, the power button, it looks a little more like an oval instead of just a circle on here. I don't know if you can see that. Yeah. And then the volume rocker looks like it's just one button instead of like a raised and lowered button. There's also, I'm just going right to left, there's also what looks like a little sensor, like a little indented circle. It looks like a sensor that would be right about here. There's nothing on the regular Switch, but then next to it is a hole, which I can only assume is the screw. Like maybe they just didn't want it to be flush, maybe they wanted it to be a little hidden away so it looks nicer. I don't know, maybe it's a cost production reason. And then the more important part, the vents. These vents, there's only like 4 little vent holders or whatever on here. These are known to break a lot if you use your Switch a lot. I have not broken mine yet because I barely, bring it out from the TV. I always leave it docked. But apparently other people have had issues even if it was docked. This one, it looks like there's a lot more vents, so that could be either good or bad. Like good to keep it intact, bad for airflow possibly. Who knows? Next to that, what I can assume is the headphone jack. I pretty much can safely assume that, I think. Either that or that little hole next to the sensor is a headphone jack, who knows. And then something I was concerned about in the first screenshot, they did show it now, the game card slots in the same place, largely unchanged, like the controllers. It's just a little different looking. It's a little more flush and squared off versus this one being round. Obviously it looks a lot better when it's just against the black, but I have a custom body. Also, one of the other things, I almost forgot to mention this, it does not seem like in the commercial at all, they didn't really show the SD card slot, like the memory card slot. I just think that's interesting. Like there's nowhere on the new body of the new one, other than maybe below that flap, where you can put an SD card. That's the only thing they haven't shown, is underneath the wide stand. So I'm kind of interested to see what they do with that. Maybe they're going to implement the same thing where it's just a little slot in there, or maybe it'll be a different type of memory thing. I just really hope they don't do proprietary like Sony did with the Vita. So anyways, that's just my thoughts on that. There we go. The dock itself, in the video, at some point, I'll show you in a moment, this looks like it's shining or like it's glowing, but it's actually just like shiny, I guess, material, like a plated looking type of thing. The little home button on the front of that still looks the same. It's just the Switch logo is much smaller, and then these corners up here are more rounded, which is nice. Kind of like a little more, I don't know, more homey kind of feel. I don't know how to describe that. Cable management / the back of the dock. So this has like a little quarter circle back here, and then the back of the dock looks, compared to the one I have, obviously it's rounded. Looks very similar. It's just the cable management, it looks like there's a little more of it in there. There's actually a wired LAN port now that's built in, so you don't have to buy an adapter or anything for it. The vents right here, I don't know if you can see me going over them, but there's vents, this little square right here. Oh, you can't see it. Basically, it looks like the vents are changed. It's usually a little slit versus this little square box now. There's the top right here. I guess I could show you from here. The top right here looks like it's pretty much the same, but these vents right here look a little different. In this little screenshot, you can see on the right hand side there's two little USB-A style ports, so they're still keeping that. Maybe they're going to be faster, like USB 3.0s. I can't really think of anything that you would plug into that, but over here you see the cable management in action. Kind of looks like there might be flat cables that come with it, maybe just to match the aesthetic, or maybe they put those in for the video. As you can tell, the back of the dock itself is rounded as well, which is pretty cool. And then of course we have the release date. This also shows that shiny thing I was telling you about on the left hand side. On the Switch dock it's just shiny, it just looks like that, it's not actually lighting up. Again, you see the USB-A's, the actual release date, which is October 8th, which is pretty cool. Again, they keep saying OLED model, so maybe it's not like the Pro that we were expecting. Maybe they just didn't want to take that name for any copyright reasons, but Nintendo usually wins that kind of stuff. So maybe it was just like, hey, this is OLED, you know, that's all. Maybe it was, you know, for the handheld experience, maybe that's why they call it an OLED edition, and they'll have another edition out later. The reason I mention that is because they keep saying OLED, but that only refers to the screen that's on the actual Switch, which is cool, and I would love to have an OLED screen on the Switch, and it looks fantastic, but here is another comparison. This actually shows just the handheld part, like the actual grip looks kind of the same. That's what I was talking about earlier when I was saying I don't think the Joy-Cons have changed. But yeah, they keep calling it an OLED model and kind of brute forcing that in, but they're not saying anything about resolution or display for the actual screen when you display it. Like when you put it in docked mode, they're not talking about that at all. So it might not change at all. Like it might still be, what is it, 720p right now or 1080p, like just, you know, basic HD. You know, just because it's OLED, it might just run through battery faster. I'm just trying to think of things that might not be so great about it. Not even trying to knock it, just they keep calling it OLED, but they don't say anything about resolution. Like, obviously the resolution on the handheld is going to be fantastic because it's an OLED screen now. That's going to look great. But they don't talk about the power or anything that has to do with the actual screen when you dock it, which is what a lot of people are going to do, probably like more than half, I would say. So I'm just kind of concerned about that. Like maybe this is an in-between model and they'll have another Pro model that can do like 4K or something. I mean, I doubt it because 4K would absolutely destroy the point of having it in handheld mode. It would just absolutely die within like 20 minutes unless you make the dock more powerful or something, I guess. But just some things I wanted to mention, talk about, see if you guys were interested in. So I appreciate you guys for watching. If you have any other questions, just let me know down below. You know, subscribe if you want, if you like my other videos, like this video if you thought it was okay. Sorry about the issues with the screen. I'm just trying to, you know, get all the information out there. My brightness is just a little crazy on my new monitor right now. But anyways, thank you guys for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Peace out.